Gen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya dialogues.
The
English.
CAPFs, as you know them,
The CPOs, the central police organizations like CRPF, PSF, you call them. And when they fail, you call the Indian Army. You want violence. The Indian Army can give you violence which your forefathers never thought possible. They'll give you so much of violence, you'll go underground. Gen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Friends, Manipur has been burning for a few months now and I've never spoken about it and I never intended to. I'm not new to this kind of violence. I've seen it. I've been privy to violence firsthand. As a young student, I saw the Sikh genocide in Delhi. I'm talking about 1984, post Indira Gandhi assassination. I'm witness to 3,000 innocent Sikhs, who were killed. I'm witness to the killing of some of them. I saw it with my own eyes, and yes, I've seen all of that, and we keep on hearing stories about violence in India. It's a huge country, and violence happens. Many people said you must comment on Manipur, and I always desisted. I'm more into foreign affairs and geopolitics and national security. Internal matters, yes, I do comment, but I said this will die down. So what prompted this video today? Why am I speaking to you? I'm not able to get the image of that woman. Her face is blurred, of course, and thankfully. I'm not able to get that woman's image out of my mind, the sheer callousness of those beasts who did that to her. I'm not able to come to terms with it. Today, I'm not going to tell you who are the cookies, who are the methis. Many of you have been hearing this for the past 2.5, 3 months. You've heard it, and you've heard it so many times that I'm sure you remember. So I'm not going to repeat who comprises 60% of the population and who comprises the other part of the population. Who has mainly Hindus, who has mainly Christians, who are hill tribes. What is this entire reservation issue and who wants scheduled tribe status? I'm not going to get into that. You know all of that. Today, my talk is about something else, and this is about what we allowed in Manipur. So 2 videos come out, fake videos by a certain community, whips up the other community. There is anger. They retaliate. They go to a village. They find the village largely empty because people have gone, but there are 1 or 2 families there. One family starts running, right? And while they're passing through the jungle, they come across a police patrol. They join up with the police patrol, thinking that they'll be safe. But suddenly that police patrol is surrounded by more than 1,000 people. And these 1,000 people forcibly take away those people, those villagers. This young boy of 19 years, he tries to save his sister. He's killed. 1 more male member is killed. This woman is stripped naked. She's groped. She's molested. And she's paraded. I don't know what to say here. I don't know what to say. Let's come to the brass tacks, ladies and gentlemen. This whole issue of this woman, that image that I can't get out of my mind, because it is so reprehensible. You know why these things happen in India? It's important that we discuss the mindset behind this. Why does violence against women happen? Why do crimes against women happen? Why do rapes happen? Why do they happen? What is the reason? Why are women raped? Women are raped because the law favors the perpetrator and not the victim. The law is so convoluted. I'm not talking about the application of the law. I'm talking about the law per se. The law per se is so convoluted that it's very difficult for a woman to get justice. And there is hardly any punishment. How much time, even if this guy gets convicted, let's say this guy gets convicted here, okay, who stripped that woman naked, right? And there are so many people along with him, but I'm just talking about one man. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at this animal's face. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, he'll be out. He'll be out. He'll be out and he'll have a career in politics, yeah. And there is nothing you and I will be able to do about it. When you support the perpetrator, where does that woman go here? I'm talking about that Manipuri woman, my sister. I'm talking about my sister. Where does my sister go? Where is the justice in it for her? Unless the law is absolutely brutal, you're not going to be able to stop these things in India. There is no chance. There is no chance that you're going to stop it. Today it's happening in Manipur, tomorrow it will happen in Delhi, then it will happen in Uttar Pradesh, it will happen in Punjab, it will happen in Tamil Nadu, it will happen in Karnataka, it will happen in Rajasthan, it will happen everywhere across the country. Because the perpetrator is literally bulletproof. 2, 3 years, 4 years, he's out. He's out. The conviction rates are so low. Now coming back to this young lady, I believe the police have arrested 4 people, but why 4 people? There was a whole crowd. There were more than 1,000 people who overwhelmed the police. All of them must go to jail. And unless we ensure that all of them go to jail, what's going to happen? It's not about people's loss of faith in the system. That is not the point here. That is not the point here. The point here is larger. The point here is about the dignity of 50% of our population. I'm trying to make a larger point. When you use terms like exemplary punishment, they mean nothing. What is exemplary? What is exemplary? What is exemplary? So here's the thing. Let's say the law provides for a punishment. Let's say, I don't know what the law provides in this case. And here is a caveat, I do not know. But I'm assuming, let's say, the law provides up to 5 years punishment in this case, or 3 years punishment in this case. A judge can never say that I sentence this man to death, because he has to go as per the law. And if the law says that between 3 to 5 years, he can only give between 3 to 5 years. He can't give 6 years. Forget about death, forget about life. You need to make laws, and then you need to implement those laws. You rape a woman, you die. That's it. You molest a woman, you outrage the modesty of a woman, you go to jail for life, your dead body comes out of jail. Unless you hammer this point, you see, you can have enough number of civics lessons. All right? And you can keep on having civics lessons. Unless you put the fear of death in these people. Everywhere. I'm not talking about Manipur here, I'm talking about everybody in India. Okay? Unless you put the fear of death. You do this, you die. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Then this will end. Otherwise, it will never end. It will never end. This will, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but this will keep on going on and on. Because we are not stopping it. We are not forceful enough. Now, here is what must be done. Okay? The government must look at AFSPA again for Manipur. Army cannot operate like this in a vacuum. You're setting up the army for failure. Let me give you a small example. And I've said this often, so I just want to make this point again. I just want to buttress this argument once more. All right? If the state administration fails or the district administration fails, you call the police, right? If the police fails, you call the paramilitary forces or you call the CAPFs, as you know them, the CPOs, the central police organizations like CRPF, BSF, you call them. And when they fail, you call the Indian Army. My question to you is, let us suppose it has never happened in the past, and may it never happen during our lifetime or even beyond. May it never happen. But heaven forbid, heaven forbid, heaven forbid, if the Indian Army fails, who will you call? Who are you going to call? Because there is nobody behind the Indian Army. Behind the district administration stands the police. Behind the police stand the CPOs. And behind everybody in this country stands the Indian Army. But if you ask the Indian Army to operate without Armed Forces Special Powers Act, they are just being set up for failure. And there is nothing beyond the Indian Army. There is nothing. The Indian Army is the last argument of the state. Now, here is what must be done in my humble opinion. Armed Forces Special Powers Act, number one. Number two, request the Eastern Army Commander, the General Officer Commanding in Chief of the Eastern Army, Lieutenant General Rana Pratap Kalita. He's the person who's in charge of the Eastern Command. And this falls in his area. He sits in Fort William, Calcutta. The government should request him and say, General, please come and sit in Manipur for 15 days. Tell the Chief Minister of Manipur, sir, just relax. You be there. You're the Chief Minister. Just be there for some time. Relax. Take it easy. Take 10 days off. Take 2 weeks off. Hand over Manipur to the Indian Army. Lieutenant General Rana Pratap Kalita is an officer that I have known for 30 years. As a young major, he was the AQ of Ranjit Singh Battalion in OTA. He was amongst the people who were responsible for training us. He was a major at that time. Now he's a Lieutenant General. 30 years have passed. A man of impeccable character, impeccable honesty, who knows when to be soft. And let me tell you, he can be very, very, very tough when he needs to be. Typical steel fist, velvet glove sort of a guy. Tell General Rana Pratap Kalita, General Sahab, you need to come to Manipur and you need to stay here for 2 weeks. Give him all the authority. Manipur will go silent in 48 hours. All this drama that is happening, Methi, Cookie, Falana, this, that, kill, rape, everything will finish and it will be like, singing of a lullaby. That is the impact that the Indian Army can have immediately on a situation. And the Eastern Army Commander is the right person to do it. We need to do it right now, if possible today. He flies into Manipur. I'm telling you, the day it comes in the newspapers that the Eastern Army Commander has landed in Manipur, 50% of your situation will calm down immediately. These people need to be punished. These people who have done this to that woman, they need to be punished. Oh, by God, they need to be punished so terribly that they become an example for the entire country, that this will happen if you do that. You need to change laws. Amongst other things, there needs to be an outreach. There needs to be an outreach to the people of Manipur. I have grown up with these guys from Northeast. Nagas, Mizos, Khasis, Manipuris. I know these guys. They're my brothers. I know them. I grew up with these guys. Yeah. And they're some of the finest people. Some of the finest human beings you'll meet are from the Northeast. But you have bad elements everywhere. You have them in the Northeast. You have them in Delhi, you have them in Uttar Pradesh, you have them in down south, east, north, west, everywhere in India. You have, everywhere in the world, you have bad people. Similarly, you have bad people in Manipur also. But this is not to paint the entire state like that. The Manipuris are not like that. They're loving people, they're kind people, they're good people. But these black sheep need to be weeded out. And if the local administration has not been able to do it, I think it is time to pull out the big caliber weapons. If 9mm cannot do it, you pull out 5.56. If 5.56 can't do it, you pull out 7.62. And if 7.62 can't do it, then you pull out the big bore. That will do the trick. That usually does the trick. And this is exactly what Manipur needs. You want violence? I'm talking about the people who are misbehaving with women and who are raping and pillaging and killing. You want violence? You want violence? The Indian Army can give you violence which your forefathers never thought possible. They'll give you so much of violence, you'll go underground. I'm telling you, friends, I believe this from the bottom of my heart. What these people You know, again I say Manipuris are the kindest people. Guys from the northeast, and why Manipuris? Why am I saying Manipuris only? It's Mizos. I grew up with Mizos and Nagas and Khasis and all these guys. The best friends that you can have, the kindest and the nicest people. But what about these black sheep that are there? These black sheep need to be weeded out. And they only understand the language of the fist. The sooner we deliver the fist to them, the better it is for the people of Manipur and for India's reputation. And finally, at number one priority, with folded hands, I request whoever is responsible for this entire system there. You know, that Manipuri sister must get justice. And that they killed her brother and I think her father also in front of her before they stripped her naked and they paraded her like an animal. She needs justice. That sister needs justice. And justice can't be 3 years in jail. It has to be swift, it has to be brutal, it has to be effective, it has to be public. And, you know, I'd just like to say one thing. Whatever has happened is horrible, horrible, horrible. And simple condemnation is not enough. Nobody's talking about it, but I would like to. You know, that 19-year-old young man who fought for the honor of his sister against a crowd of 1,000. You're no more, but I can tell you, it's an honor to know that people like you exist. It's a deep, deep privilege for me to know that there are men like you who would die defending their sisters. May your sister get justice. Jai Hind.